All right. So tell everybody who you are, where you live, and what's your profession.
My name is John Reeves. I live in the DC area, in Northern Virginia, and I'm a project manager.
What's your number one goal currently and why?
So, my number one goal is to help 100,000 people improve their financial situation through financial coaching. And, I have a number of friends, family, other people, in my life where once I kind of got to know them and I get to talk to them, I realize like they are having trouble financially. And so, after seeing that happen over and over again and knowing that it's something that I'm passionate about, I said, it's just sort of a no-brainer. Maybe I should dive a little deeper into this and provide value to all these people in my life who seem to be having difficulty.
I think that's a great goal. Especially, I mean, I know you're a walking calculator, so always appreciate our financial conversations. Additionally, there are a lot of other people out there as well that can use a lot of insight. But finances sometimes is a touchy subject for some people. So in order to get help, right, we first need to admit that we may need help. And I think someone like you with your character and openness will be perfect like that. Perfect for something like that, as well as your in-depth knowledge. So um, I'm excited about that. What is Push Alliance to you?
So, Push Alliance to me is a place where like-minded individuals can work together to overcome obstacles or issues or problems that they're having in pursuing or reaching their goals. And so I think it's a great place to kind of get out of the way of yourself and to kind of get out of that mindset of feeling alone or like you're the only one that's struggling through trying to reach your pursuits.
I agree. We all have the same problems in different areas of our life, but they're all the same. So I feel like the communication helps. What are your two most significant realizations or awareness thoughts that you've had since going through the push orientation process?
Yeah, so the push orientation process for me was eye-opening. I mean, it was kind of crazy because I had been going along a path and I kind of realized through the orientation process that my goal was incorrect. So like I was running around, I was doing all these things. I was, being pretty disciplined, but my goal wasn't right. And so, man, once we kind of went through and established the goals and kind of taking a step back and looking at it and saying, helping other people through financial coaching is really what I should be doing. It gave me like new motivation to push myself forward. You know what I mean? So I think that was like
Absolutely.
the number one thing. The second thing I would say is just like sort of felt like isolated, felt kind of alone in my pursuits. And so that kind of made it hard for me to really want to keep pushing towards those goals. So all of a sudden, the first week we got in the push right after orientation, and I noticed, man, there's like, seven other people here in our small group that are working through similar issues or struggles or goals. Definitely gave me a different type of motivation, which was great.
That is definitely a big thing, man. Just knowing that you're not alone. And additionally, all of us perform better under observation. What are your two most significant accomplishments since you started pushing, 4 weeks ago?
Yeah, so I'd say the first most significant accomplishment that I had was finally posting online, posting blog articles about finances or just thoughts I had on particular topics. I think before I was hesitant to do that and kind of getting my feet wet with band and working through push and starting out chatting with people who I didn't know at the beginning. It kind of eased me into posting things online and in online communities. So I think that was the first thing. I think the second piece really was just trying to get over the fear of failure. That like, you know, even if I post something and it's not that good, or even if I fail at whatever I'm pursuing, I can always try again. It's not the end of the world, and I'll learn something through that process. So I think those were the two major things.
Yeah, I have a similar issue, especially with number two that you mentioned, the fear of failure. Um, but recently, I think I've gotten over that because I feel like everyone, whether they say it or not, we all go through the same issues, right? So now I take a comfort in knowing that, and me just taking whatever steps I'm going to take to try whatever, I'm all for it. Like, okay, I'm an idiot, whatever, but if we continue to play it safe, right, and stay in our bubble, stay in that cushiony zone, that cushiony area, we'll never get anywhere. So
Yeah.
you have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable, and that's where the progress and the fulfillment comes from, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. When I start to get that sort of little bit of sick feeling in my stomach, I go, all right, this is probably something I need to be doing.
That's right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What do you like most about Push currently?
Yeah, I would say probably what I like most about Push is the network. The fact that we meet weekly and we discuss problems or issues that came up during the week when we were trying to work through our goals. And so, someone may have a problem or issue, reaching one of their goals, and that gives us the opportunity to sort of help them maybe think about it in a different way, or maybe we've already come across that problem, somebody in the group, and they can quickly help provide a solution that's adequate. And so, I think that's probably the best thing, is having this sort of brain trust of information, where we can kind of work from other people's experiences instead of having to learn something the hard way.
Yeah, mastermind approach. So I wanted to kind of drill down this a little bit, because you mentioned to me, I guess 3 or 4 weeks in, that you felt that you accomplished more during these 4 weeks than you had thus far in 2020. Now, I want to preface that by saying you're not like, an average 9 to 5er, like come home, like watch TV, like go to sleep, right? You always have like a progressive mind state. So what do you think kind of assisted you in these 4 weeks? In my opinion, I think it may be a sense of urgency, and other people being around, but I want to hear your take on that.
Yeah, so I think sort of the change in my mindset was really that weekly meeting that we have is like social accountability for the things that I put down. And so it's easy for me to tell myself like, oh, you can worry about that tomorrow, or oh, you feel a little tired today, right? Like maybe we could just do that next week, no big deal. What's it matter, right?
Right.
But since running Push, I sort of changed my mindset a little bit. I said, okay, like let's not make any excuses on why we can't get this done. How can we get better at performing? How can we get better at doing the things we know we should be doing? And having that accountability with a small group of people or a team, just really sort of holds your feet to the fire a little bit. And it gave me that extra motivation, because I don't feel like I'm alone now. Other people are trying to do similar things. And so, yeah, all of a sudden I just said, all right, like let's stop with the excuses, John. Let's get this done. And so I think that was sort of the mindset shift, really, that it created that. Yeah.
Yeah, well, you're moving,
man. It's a powerful thing.
4 or 5 weeks in, and you're already off the races, man. So definitely excited about your progress that you've already made and that you will continue to make.
Thanks, man.
Last thing, anything you'd like to share, prior to closing out?
Yeah, sure. So, I read books every now and then, and I was reading some book, and it had some quotes from famous people in there. And Henry David Thoreau had this quote, the mass of men lead lives of quiet desperation. And I started thinking about that, and two things that really stuck out to me in that quote were that they were quiet in what was happening, and also that they were desperate in some form or fashion. And I think what the author was trying to say there is essentially like people are quiet about their goals or their pursuits, and they don't share that information with anyone, and they can live their whole lives and never actually reach any of their goals or dreams or pursuits. And so I was thinking about it, and I was like, man, I think push is sort of a solution to that problem, because you're vocal about your goals and your pursuits and your dreams. And by being vocal, maybe that takes a little bit of the fear out of it, because you can see other people who might be professionals at something or have a good experience at something else. And it really gives you this idea that you can actually accomplish those goals and move forward. And so, as I started getting through and going through push, I went back and started reading some of those old quotes that I had written down. And I feel like that quote in particular just really kind of sums up some of the added value and benefits that Push Alliance really brings to people. So, I just wanted to share that with the group.
No, that's amazing. Thank you very much. That's a wonderful observation. Thank you. And thank you for your time, John. I really appreciate it.
Sure. Yeah, no problem, Dion.